even Jay-Z's career, you can look at that and say the association to Beyonce is when he started to receive the 16, 17 Grammys since he's been with Beyonce.
But what I've heard about them as a couple is that they've been living separate lives for a very long time. So they together, but they living separate.
Again, it didn't happen in that way. It happened, we were using our art almost like a therapy session, and we started making music together. Mm-hmm. And then the music she was making at that time was further along. So her album came out as opposed to the joint album that we were working on.
Y'all, you know how 50 Cent never shies away from stirring the pot? Well, he's done it again. And this time, the target is none other than the power couple of rap, Jay-Z and Beyonce. Yeah, you heard me right. Just recently, 50 Cent dropped a bombshell, suggesting that Jay-Z's marriage to Queen Bey might not be as rock solid as we all thought. And let me tell you, Jay-Z's reaction? Well, he's just pissed. So gentlemen, if you're ready to unpack some juicy gossip and get the lowdown on why Jay-Z's fuming, stick around because we're about to dive deep into this whirlwind of drama that's got everyone talking. So, for those of you who don't know, let me fill you in. So, you know how everyone's always talking about Jay-Z's impressive Grammy wins? Well, 50 Cent, the man behind G-Unit, recently shared his thoughts on it all in a super interesting interview for XXL's 20th anniversary issue. In this chat, 50 Cent dives into how Jay-Z's Grammy success might have a lot to do with his relationship with Queen Bey herself, Beyonce. According to Fifth, Jay-Z's Grammy collection didn't really start piling up until he and Beyonce got together back in the early 2000s. He's like, hey, have you ever noticed how Jay-Z's Grammy shelf started filling up around the same time he and Beyonce became a power couple? 50 breaks it down further, pointing out that before Bey came into the picture, Jay-Z had just one Grammy to his name. But once they joined forces, suddenly he's got like 16 or 17 of those shiny trophies. So basically 50 Cent saying that the Beyonce effect might have played a big role in boosting Jay-Z's Grammy count. It's like before B, he was doing all right, but after hooking up with her, his Grammy game went through the roof. And you know he might not be wrong. Like, I'm not taking sides, but if we were to ask 50 for his justification, he would just tell us to look at the rapper's track record. And I did some digging for you guys. Alright, so let's take a closer look at Jay-Z's Grammy journey to see if 50 Cent's theory holds water. Back in 1998, Jay scored a Grammy for Best Rap Album with his LP, Vol. 2, Hard Knock Life. But here's where it gets interesting. After that win, there's a bit of a dry spell until 2004. Yep, it took about 6 years for Jay to snag another Grammy. And guess what? It happened right around the time he and Beyonce dropped their collab hit Crazy in Love, which won them Best R&B Song. Coincidence? Maybe not. Since then, Jay's Grammy cabinet has been overflowing, adding a whopping 22 more Grammy wins to his collection. It's like once he and Beyonce teamed up, the Grammy floodgates opened wide for him. So, it seems like 50 Cent might be onto something here. The Beyonce effect seems to have had a major impact on Jay-Z's Grammy success. And that's not all that he said. He also added, you see, Jay and Beyonce's kids already have Grammys. They don't sing yet, they don't sing, they don't rap yet, and they already have Grammys and shit. So they say, give them this trophy so we can secure that they're coming to the awards show.
In association, like you see, their kids even have Grammys. Like they don't sing yet. They don't sing. Right. They don't rap yet, and they already have Grammys. So it's like they give them this trophy so we secure that they're coming to the award show.
It meant that much to the culture they just gave them the things, he continued, suggesting that the recognition the Carter family receives might not always be entirely earned. Adding to his critique, Fifth didn't hold back in slamming the Grammys for snubbing him at the 2004 award ceremony. Despite racking up an impressive 5 nominations thanks to his groundbreaking debut album Get Rich or Die Trying in 2003, he was notably absent from the event. Reflecting on the experience, he remarked, later on, people might look back and give recognition to those achievements, but at the time, I was like, forget it. I didn't need the trophy to validate my success. So what if they didn't award me Best New Artist? I mean, I moved 13 million records with the biggest debut in hip-hop history, and fans agree that this could be a sham marriage. One person wrote on X, LOL, someone said they've lost respect. For Beyonce for staying with Jay-Z, you'd think they were all in the marriage together. Or she asked LOL. Another added, Jay-Z was able to keep his marriage because Beyonce knows of his secret affairs. There's a belief among some folks that Jay-Z is fully aware of the impact Beyonce has had on his career trajectory. In fact, there are whispers that he doesn't hesitate to call out individuals who might be seeking to ride on Beyoncé's coattails for their own personal gain. It's almost as if he acknowledges that Beyoncé's influence played a pivotal role in shaping his success, and he's quick to address anyone who might not recognize that. He even called out the Academy recently for her. Did you catch Jay-Z's speech at the Grammys the other day? He didn't hold back in calling out the Recording Academy for snubbing his wife, Beyoncé. It really brought attention to how black artists often get overlooked at these big award shows. Greg Carr, a professor over at Howard University, hit the nail on the head when he said that the music industry has a history of excluding black voices. Even though things have supposedly changed, he argues that black music is still kind of packaged in a way that downplays the contributions of black artists themselves. And then during Jay-Z's acceptance speech for the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award, he really drove this point home. It's like he was saying, hey, we see what's going on here, and he wasn't about to let it slide. We love y'all, we want y'all to get it right, he said. I don't want to embarrass this young lady, but she has more Grammys than anyone and never won Album of the Year. So even by your own metrics, that doesn't work. But all of that aside, 50 Cent isn't the only one to come up with doubts about this duo's marriage. Even B's own sister has opinions about Jay-Z.
Actually, no. I really limit what he can have access to.
Now, if there's one thing we've learned about Solange, it's her apparent lack of enthusiasm for Jay-Z. Ever since the infamous elevator incident where she attempted to confront Jay-Z, it's been clear she harbors some resentment towards him. Not only does she dislike him, but she's also not fond of his marriage to Beyoncé. Finally, after several years, she's opening up about the reality of their relationship, and let me tell you, it's shocking. While rumors about Beyoncé and Jay-Z's marriage have circulated for some time, Solange's recent revelations offer a fresh perspective. Let's rewind and delve into the early days of their union. When Beyoncé said, I know that Jay and I probably do inspire people, and I appreciate people feeling proud, but this is the only way I've been able to stay sane. So why would I start talking now? Not speaking controls your brand. It controls what you want to put out there and kind of forces people to talk about what you want them to talk about. Well, it's not what it looks like. So, according to Solange, Beyoncé's big reason for keeping her marriage under wraps is because she doesn't want folks to see just how messy or toxic things can get. And let's face it, we've all heard whispers about Jay-Z's wandering eye throughout their marriage. But get this, insider info spilled recently claiming he was stepping out on Bey even before they tied the knot. Apparently, one of his many flings was with a woman named Olivia McFollow, and guess what? She's one of the rare few, if not the only one, who's openly talked about Jay-Z's advances while he was still dating Beyoncé. Wild, right?
For the most part, Jay hit me on some, I will reach you when I'm in town.
He wanted you to be his girl Friday.
He wanted me to be his girl when he's in town.
It seems like there's quite a bit of drama surrounding Olivia's interactions with Jay-Z and Solange. Olivia's account suggests that she initially resisted giving Jay-Z her number when his bodyguard asked for it, but later they exchanged numbers when they ran into each other again in Miami. However, Solange caught them in what Olivia describes as a potentially compromising situation. Olivia's story implies that Solange's presence and reaction played a significant role in her decision to distance herself from Jay-Z. It seems she was intimidated by Solange's protective demeanor toward her sister, Beyoncé. This encounter seems to have influenced Olivia's perception and perhaps contributed to her decision to end whatever interaction she had with Jay-Z. It's understandable why some people might doubt Olivia's claims, especially given the high-profile nature of the individuals involved and the potential for rumors and speculation. Without more concrete evidence, it's challenging to determine the full extent of what transpired between Olivia, Jay-Z, and Solange. So, Solange has caught Jay-Z red-handed cheating on Beyoncé multiple times, and if we're looking for a reason behind her dislike for him, well, that would be reason enough. We all know Solange loves Beyoncé like crazy, just as any sister should, enough to even physically confront Jay-Z in an elevator. In a statement addressing the incident, they said, in light of the public release of the elevator security footage from Monday, May 5th, there's been a lot of speculation about what triggered the unfortunate event. Jay and Solange both acknowledged their roles in the situation. They've apologized to each other, and we've moved forward as a united family. People were left scratching their heads, wondering what could have driven Solange to attack her brother-in-law so fiercely. It seemed obvious to many that it had to do with Jay-Z's betrayal of Beyoncé, given how fiercely protective Solange is of her sister. Remember when Olivia McFader mentioned Solange wanting to throw down after spotting her with Jay-Z? That pretty much solidified everyone's suspicions of Jay-Z's infidelity once again. Beyoncé also addressed the cheating rumors in her song Sorry, singing, sneaking out the back door, he only want me when I'm not there. Altogether, he better call Becky with the good hair. Jay-Z himself admitted to cheating on on Beyoncé in his track Family Feud, rapping, "Y'all mess up a good thing if you let me. Leave me alone, Becky. A man that doesn't take care of his family can't be rich." And that wasn't the only time he addressed the scandal. In an interview with the New York Times, he attempted to justify his infidelity, saying, "You have to survive. You have to go into survival mode. And when you go into survival mode, what happens? You shut down all emotions. So even with women, you gotta shut down emotionally, so you can't connect. And then all the things happen from there. Infidelity." It's pretty clear why Solange isn't exactly Jay-Z's biggest fan and why she feels the marriage might not be all it seems. Insiders suggest she's been urging Beyoncé for ages to call it quits, but Beyoncé holds firm to her belief in the sanctity of marriage, seeing it as a lifelong commitment. But that's not the only reason Solange sees the marriage as toxic. She also believes Jay-Z has been exerting control over Beyoncé, manipulating her into doing his bidding, and now people are done idolizing these two. A Twitter or X user said, "If you think Beyoncé and Jay-Z's marriage is goals, you should probably reevaluate your marriage goals. Remember when I mentioned Solange's suspicions about the marriage being a facade? Well, it seems her fears were validated when Beyoncé's former bodyguard spilled the beans, calling their relationship strictly business. He said, "Your relationship was a business relationship, financial, to get to the top, to become billionaires. There's no love there." Now, we all know that contract marriages and relationships are common in Hollywood, but Jay-Z and Beyoncé being in one, that's a bit of a shocker. I mean, they've always portrayed themselves as the epitome of true love.
Your relationship was a business relationship, financial, to get to the top, to become billionaires. There's no love there.
It's definitely a shocker to think that Jay-Z and Beyoncé might be involved in a contract marriage, especially considering how they've always portrayed themselves as a genuine love match. Hollywood is no stranger to such arrangements, but this revelation certainly catches many off guard. And regarding Solange's concerns about Jay-Z's control over Beyoncé, the bodyguard's revelations add a sinister layer to the mix.
Hardly nobody knows, but I'll say it, man. Yeah, Beyonce's on drugs. She been on them for a long time, and you keep her that way.
And that's not even all of it. Now things take a darker turn here. Jaguar stepped into the fray, alleging that Jay-Z kept Beyoncé under the influence of drugs as a means of control and manipulation. She didn't hold back, urging people to wake up to the reality. According to Jaguar, Beyoncé's life isn't the fairy tale it appears to be. She's controlled down to the smallest detail. She's not living freely. She's a puppet in Jay-Z's hands, treated more like an employee than a partner in their supposed marriage.
He's a master. And I know he's a master for years. I waited a long time to see if he can grow a conscience. And the more drugs he pumps down his wife's throat to keep her out, no girl.
This revelation seems to have put a strain on the relationship between Solange and Beyoncé. Signs of the rift became apparent when Beyoncé didn't even mention Solange in her Grammy speech, despite acknowledging other family members, including her uncles.
I'll tell you this right now, y'all talking about free Grammy. Y'all need to be doing a campaign that say free Beyoncé.
Beyonce is free.
She is a prisoner in a gilded cage.
Oh, God, no.
She
says in prison, she's one of the most expensive prisons ever.
Yes, she is. And she's watched 24 hours a day. She's not allowed to make a choice for herself, not at all, not in any way. People think she has an amazing life. She is told what to say, she is told what to eat, she is told what to drink, she is told what to wear. She is not her husband's wife, she is his employee. It's a business arrangement. She was a dowry.
It's heartbreaking to hear about the strain in Solange and Beyoncé's relationship. Solange wasn't even invited to Beyoncé's celebration party after her win, and she didn't congratulate her on her victory either. This is especially strange considering how close they've been for years. Solange has always been Beyoncé's right-hand woman and a devoted supporter. Insiders suggest that tension has been brewing between them, particularly because Beyoncé seems unwilling to listen to anyone's advice regarding her relationship with Jay-Z, not even from her own sister. It seems like Solange has reached a point where she's given up trying to make Beyoncé see the toxicity of her marriage. The streets have been buzzing with speculation about what triggered Solange's outburst. It's disheartening to see their sisterhood strained like this. Solange seems to be privy to all the secrets and doesn't approve of them, while Beyoncé appears to be under Jay-Z's control, at least in my opinion. Even during the infamous fight between Solange and Jay-Z, Beyoncé remained passive, not intervening. It seems Beyoncé may have distanced herself from Solange because Solange speaks the truth, and perhaps Beyoncé isn't ready to face it. It's definitely a complex situation, and opinions may vary on whether Solange was right to speak out about her sister's marriage, or if she should have kept quiet. On the one hand, Solange likely spoke out of concern for her sister's well-being, especially if she believed Beyoncé was being manipulated or mistreated in her marriage. As a close family member, it's understandable that Solange would want what's best for Beyoncé and may have felt compelled to address any concerns she had. On the other hand, some might argue that airing family grievances publicly could further strain relationships and create unnecessary drama. There's also the possibility that Solange's intervention could have been unwelcome or seen as meddling in Beyoncé's personal life. You know, there's this whole other angle to the Solange Jay-Z Beyoncé drama that some people are talking about. It's not just about Solange looking out for her sister, but also about her maybe seeing Jay-Z in a whole new light, and not in a good way. Think about it. She's been in the mix, seeing things up close, and perhaps she's caught on to some of Jay-Z's less admirable traits. Maybe she's witnessed behavior or heard things that made her think, hey, this guy might not be as great as everyone thinks. And now, with the spotlight shining even brighter on Beyoncé, there's this theory that Jay-Z's feeling a bit threatened. I mean, imagine being married to one of the biggest stars in the world, and suddenly she's getting even more attention and accolades. It could definitely bruise the old ego, right? So some folks reckon that Jay-Z's taking out his frustrations on Beyoncé. It's like he's resentful that she's stealing his thunder, so he's not exactly treating her like the queen she is. In a way, it's like this whole situation has peeled back the curtain on their relationship, revealing some not so pretty truths. And Solange, well, she might have been the one to see it all firsthand and decide she's had enough of keeping quiet about it. After all, family loyalty only goes so far when you're watching someone you love get mistreated. And now Jay's trying his best to show to the public that the music he makes with Beyoncé is something that involves both of them and not just her.
Again, it didn't happen in that way. It happened, we were using our art almost like a therapy session, and we started making music together. Mm-hmm. And then the music she was making at that time was further along. So her album came out as opposed to the joint album that we were working on.
But the stealing credit is only the tip of the iceberg. He's done far more horrible things to her. Reportedly, Beyoncé is said to have been groomed and is under the tight control of Jay-Z. Allegedly, he maintains surveillance on her around the clock, dictating everything from her attire to her diet. Their relationship allegedly began when Beyoncé was just 16, despite public statements suggesting she was 18 at the time. It's claimed that Jay-Z initiated the process back then, a pattern reminiscent of his approach with other proteges like Rihanna, whom Beyoncé reportedly has ill feelings toward due to Jay-Z's involvement with her, mirroring similar situations with other proteges. One person talked about their weird age gap and wrote, honestly, y'all okay about Jay-Z and Beyoncé marriage, but have a problem with a 30-year-old dating a 19-year-old girl. Y'all must be sick in the head. Credible sources, including Beyoncé's former bodyguard and industry insider Jaguar Wright, who previously exposed Diddy, have shed light on this matter. Wright portrays Jay-Z as more calculated and patient compared to Diddy, who she suggests was less discreet. Beyoncé's former bodyguard alleges that Jay-Z was confronted by Beyoncé's father after allegedly physically assaulting her, with her father issuing a stern warning against any further such behavior. Both Wright and other sources contend that Jay-Z is the mastermind orchestrating events behind the scenes, exerting tight control over Beyoncé through various means, including the use of substances and manipulation of people. You know, it's kinda intriguing how Beyoncé rarely teamed up with male artists for collaborations, right? Well, some folks are saying Jay-Z had a hand in that. It's like he had to give his stamp of approval or something. And have you noticed how she's never really able to speak freely on camera? Some say that's all thanks to Jay-Z. It's like he's pulling the strings to control her image and what she says in public. It's pretty eye-opening when you think about it. These women, including Beyoncé, are being treated more like possessions or assets than actual people. They deserve better, and it's about time someone stepped up to help them out. So, what's your stance on it? Do you think there's any truth to 50 Cent's claim about Jay-Z's marriage being a sham? Or do you think it's just another rumor blown out of proportion? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and if you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button to stay tuned for more intriguing discussions. Until next time, keep it real.